And I found recently that the ones that get a ton more followers than others and more engagement are the fun personal ones, but they're still related to my career. They're
Hmm.
still related to real estate. The informational ones are fantastic. Those are really great, but I've noticed those haven't gotten as much engagement, but the purpose of those is to just make sure that I'm solidifying in other folks' minds, probably people who already know me and they know I'm a
Hmm.
realtor, but they don't really know if I'm head and shoulders above others,
Yeah.
and if I can really stand out to really solidify myself as an expert.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and I have a guest on today, Sarah Newmarker, and I'm excited to have her on for lots of reasons that you're going to find out. So, hey girl.
Hey, how are you doing, Kathy?
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm
Good.
so excited to have you on. And where are you at? You're out in California, right?
We are, yeah, so I'm based in Marin County, which is just north of San Francisco, right over the Golden Gate Bridge, and then also in the wine country in Napa.
Ooh, how cool is
Hmm.
that?
Best of both.
Yeah, so pretty
Yeah.
out there. I love that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just out in Portugal in the wine country there with all these exotic cars. There was a rally, so we were racing through the mountains. I thought it was a lovely little stroll down the coastline of Portugal. No, we were going at top speeds. It was insane and really fun, but I loved it.
Um, Portugal's so popular right now. I have a bunch of clients. I mean, at least 7 or 8 who are doing the golden visa by investing over there. Great idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man, we need to talk more about that because,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm very excited you said that. Okay, so let's talk about, your career. Like how long you been in it? 15 years?
Almost 15. Yeah. So it's 14 now. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, and you're about to have another baby and you got two
We
little
are.
ones.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So life is full. It's a happy chaos at home.
Yeah. How do you do it? Yeah, my mom was a realtor and she had another set of kids when I was like 16 and 17. And
Uh-huh.
so, and then she moved away and she had those babies and she was a realtor and she's raising those babies and my father was not functioning well. And so here she is like a single mom in a new state, in a new career and raising kids. And I'm thinking, how
Mhm.
do you do it? I didn't have the kids when I started over, but you got kids. Tell us.
I do. I do. And so, it's interesting. When I first started out, I didn't have kids, and it worked out well in terms of building my career. And I got to a point, no, I had my first son when I was almost 40, and I'm 43 now. So they came pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
But so it's interesting to see how my progression into motherhood, has followed the trajectory of my career. Luckily, I did have the foundation set with my career. I was already established and successful. So
Good.
that worked out well. But you really hit the nail on the head when you mentioned support. And I have to say, I'm one of those very independent people. I have colleagues who work on teams. I think that's great. I like to be my own solo agent, right? And that really translates to life. So that's one of the many things that being a mom taught me.
Mm.
And I mean, you cannot do it alone. You really can't. You can't do it alone and thrive and
Right.
have people talk about balance. And for me, the key to finding balance is number one, keeping my priorities in check. Nothing's going to be perfect all the time, that type of thing, but also making sure that I do have that support. And certainly, single mothers out there, amazing, amazing. Many of them are my girlfriends. And I'm not saying you need a partner or a husband to do it, but you do need someone, whether it's family or an au pair or, your girlfriends, right?
Right. Yeah.
You really do need that support, and learning to lean into that when it's offered is good, not just for you, but it's really, really good for the other person. Because I mean, the gratification that you get when you help others is really, it's one of the great, great joys in life,
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. So yeah, that in itself just keeps you up in the air and just how you physically feel tired as pregnant right now. And oh boy. And
Yeah. Yeah, my pregnancies, luckily, so to the point of the support, so my husband is mostly at home with our kids.
oh, that's
And
great.
that works for us. He also has a business, but
Hmm.
he is the main person at home, and it's just I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes as compared to what I know other experiences are that women have. But there's always a trade-off. So as a result, we really had to simplify our lives, and we do live simply more now than we did before, and not as many cars and things like that. We sold one of our houses. So it does have a trade-off for sure, but for us, it's what works.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that is really fortunate. And then in terms of the fatigue, I have been lucky in my pregnancies, I have to say. This time, my first trimester, I was pretty tired, but I was doing all right. And I tend to be pretty high energy with them. So that's a blessing. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have gone for a third. Yeah.
I get it.
Mhm.
So, but you built your business up on referrals only, right?
That's right. Yeah, so when I first got into the business, huge fan of Brian Buffini. Shout out to Brian Buffini, followers and fans, amazing, just, in principles and also in action.
Yeah.
And, that really worked well. And I think I'll tell you specifically where I started out. So Southern Marin, if folks aren't familiar with it, so it's just over the Golden Gate Bridge, and it is definitely one of the most high net worth places in the entire country.
Mm,
Our median sales price in all of Marin is about one and a quarter. In Mill Valley, where my office is, it's about two and a half.
mm.
And 40% of our transactions are all cash.
Wow.
So yeah, it's an industry with a lot of veterans
Mm,
down there, a lot of agents per capita, stiff competition, and I was 28, I think, something like that, right? It's just starting out. So my point with mentioning Buffini is I really feel that it helped me win over a lot of folks because it's so down to earth and it's so human.
yep. It's human.
And so yeah, and so then as my business has gotten more sophisticated and it's compounded, in terms of my results that I've given my clients, my marketing does get more sophisticated, and I know we'll talk about that, but I also want to make sure it stays grounded. So I
Yeah.
do make sure that I do those pop buys and all those old-fashioned things, handwritten cards. So I really think that that helped me get into the market where they're like, wow, this is a human person and she's all heart. She really, really cares.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that really helped first in the first, say, 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you go three ways. One is Brian Buffini, that whole relationship, which was me. That's exactly how I wanted to do it. But if you were new to the area, how do you even get the relationship? So, and then there's the ferry program where it's dialing for dollars. I knew that was never going to be me, ever. It's just not my style. So when I first started, I was basically knocking on doors with a business partner that I had where we were working expireds. But I had a mission on that. But also one day, Patty, now we live in NASCAR area here, and we were both classic car lovers. So there's a lot of classic cars in the area. And one day, Patty used to drive this awful little, I can't remember what it's called, but it looked like a little squirrel, so a square little box. And I thought it was a horrific looking little car. And then one day she pulls in with a 65 fully restored vet with side pipes and headers, and it was heaven in a convertible. And we would go out Saturday mornings and we would knock on doors. And I had a whole system of calling on the expireds because this was 2008, 9, 10, right?
Hmm.
Which were rough years and
Yeah.
tons of expireds. So we had a whole system with an agenda of get their contact information and try and set up an appointment. One or the other,
Mhm.
both ideally, right? And so we, when she brought that car in that one day, because we'd been knocking on doors, people, not even answering the door, just slamming the door on you, much like the phone calls, right?
Mhm.
But we did get bits and pieces of business by doing that because they would be on their second or third or fourth agent and they were just done. Okay,
Yeah,
you girls
yeah.
took, you came and did something unique where you came to our door and you did it early Saturday morning so it wasn't, disrupting us. And then anyway, when she brought that car in, I said, "Oh my gosh, this is the holy grail of marketing. We're going to do so good with this." And where we
Right.
worked is a lake community. So this was all lakefront property that we were going to.
Uh-huh.
So we got our first $1.7 million listing that day because they come running out to see what's the noise because they love the sound.
Yeah,
It's a great
yeah.
thing.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
what I set up was send out cards. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I don't think so.
It's an online card that you can create or through an app, but it goes US mail. So it's
Uh,
similar to the Brian Buffini concept. You can even do it in cursive and it's you writing it. It's not a branded thing. So you're
right.
literally writing it. So when we would get those appointments, I would take a picture of the front of their house. So that was the cover of my
Yeah.
card. And
Nice.
then I would, write something, thanks so much for, letting us in your home, letting us see it, blah, 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 whatever it was. And then it would be branded on the back and it would have our phone number and everything on. And I would send those out. And those became something of another unique touch. They saw a different kind of marketing. So they
Mhm.
started to see it. And when we got that first waterfront, that was it. Now we got more waterfronts and they just snowballed. And then the rascal at the end of the season, she sells that car and comes in a brand new Corvette. I go, what's this? And she goes, isn't it cool? I go, it's cool, but it looks like we make too much money, darn it. We're missing the cool factor of the
Right. The hip. Yeah. And was it loud enough to get people out of their houses to see what's going on?
no, it was just a regular, very nice vet, brand new.
Right.
But
Right.
no, they aren't loud like the old ones. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it got us on our path, which was the thing.
Right.
And then it
Right.
got us on the path of being able to do the build the business and the referral. So it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. It's all about just that personal connection. It
It
really is.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And we use those send out cards a lot. But anyway, I want to get back to you. So tell me about the how you're doing AI in your business.
Oh gosh, AI. So I do have to keep the philosophy of AI as being an assistant. And I really check myself every day or so of, okay, if you didn't have AI, you need to be sure that any situation you'll be okay in. Okay.
Yes.
You have an alternative. So to that point, as an assistant, not as like a guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
But constantly throughout the day. So the most valuable way I use AI for my business is definitely with creating scripts
Mm-hmm.
for my videos, for my reels, and things like that, and the captions that go along with
Yeah.
them. And also kind of troubleshooting and navigating that whole editing world because I know a lot of folks, a lot of agents especially, will outsource their editing, which is great. It's an awesome idea, but right now I am having a lot of fun with it, so I do
Mhm.
most of it myself with the exception
Wow.
of the production videos. So I'll talk about that as well because I do fly in this professional team. They're from LA and they'll
Mm.
do those for me, but the fill-in ones I do myself.
Yeah.
So AI for that, for the captions and the dialogues, and also just troubleshooting throughout the day. I mean, I'll give you specific examples. I was at a home that we're closing on in a couple of weeks, and we were trying to figure out the alarm system,
Yeah.
right, and the Nest thermostat, and I had also plugged in the inspection reports into it. And I had said, look up the make and model of the garbage disposal, right? Just for
Hmm.
example. And it went right to it. So these are all things I could do on my own, right?
Yeah.
But the level of efficiency is helpful for my clients, number one, and
Yeah.
also for me.
It's so
Hmm.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And most of the time it's good. I'll give, your viewers and listeners a tip for sure that someone had given me, which is that when you first start out, or if you've already started out, regardless, if you haven't done this, do it, is really make sure that your AI assistant is very familiar with you.
Yes.
So just yeah, right? Take 20 minutes, however much time you need, tell them your life story.
Hmm.
Tell them the names of your kids. Tell them when you got married. Tell them when you started, of course, when you started in the business. Tell them some issues you've seen come up within transactions for yourself, some areas you want to work on, points of weakness, points of strength.
Hmm.
All of these things, give it as much information. It's like, imagine you met this future girlfriend and you need to you want to let her know everything about you so you can just start being best friends right away. That
I
type of
love that.
thing. Yeah. So that's what I did. And I hadn't done that for like the first, I don't know, 4 months. And
Hmm.
man, it really transformed the accuracy and the helpfulness of
Yes.
the responses that I got. And it also really was able to, from hearing me talk, just talk like yourself.
Yeah.
Don't talk like you're recording yourself, because then it'll capture your voice. And then
Yes.
when you do those voiceovers for videos and when you do those captions, it's going to be more like you. Always
Yes.
go in and change it a little bit,
Of course.
because we don't, again, we want to make sure we're doing it ourselves. But yeah, I can't say speak highly enough about making sure your AI knows you. And it's kind of funny sometimes. I'm like, I'll win it, I'll get a transaction, I'll get something in a contract, or the buyer will get off the fence and put in an offer on my listing, and I'll want to tell my AI. So, like I should call my husband first, and you know, call my clients and everything. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get that.
Mhm.
So I teach it to agents.
Oh,
And
great.
it's evolving so fast. Like I've been doing it nearly 3 years now, and I first learned about it on TikTok. And Elon Musk was saying how he got rid of uh, online AI. He got out of that company because he was afraid of where it was going to go. So,
Hmm.
and it was meant to be a sharing thing, not ever a for sale thing. And he didn't like that piece of it, which I found interesting. But all I cared about, if he was concerned about it, but he saw that it was going to explode, I wanted to know more anyway. So I went on TikTok, which is where I first saw it, and
Uh-huh.
I said, "What realtors are using AI?" And there was about six at that point. And I looked to see, what are you doing? And they were doing, new listing descriptions. They were doing some
Uh-huh.
emails. But one guy said, I wrote a story. I go, wrote a story. Interesting. Okay. So I said, well, let me try and write a story. So I said, I've got a 7-year-old granddaughter or 6-year-old, whatever she was. And I want her to write a story about a little girl that's lost in the woods, and all the animals are her friends, and they're empowering her with words of wisdom to get out of the forest. And
Mm.
it wrote this cool little story, and I said, wow. So he ended up writing an ebook about my start and what I learned in business for new agents, and created an ebook that was 27 pages long. And it's been downloaded like crazy because we worked in harmony to create it.
Yes, yeah,
And
and it
and the
got your
harmony.
voice. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
unique. Yeah, it is. It's
But
great.
teaching it who you are is critical. And that has evolved, because it used to be you put it down in the personalization section within ChatGPT. You could
Uh-huh.
answer all these questions and put it in there. You'd have Chat ask you like all those questions that you were getting.
Right,
And so then you would read it back in. So it would get your
right.
tone and tonality and how you phrase a sentence. And then you would keep it down in there. But now it's evolved to, now you can create a PDF on the same thing. And
Uh-huh.
the projects on the left-hand side.
Right.
So every one of those projects has got a little box up there that's got a little red thing says add a file over and
Uh-huh.
above the regular banner, right? And I thought, well, what's that? Well, I found out that's where you go put your PDF of who you are. So in every one of those projects, you upload that there. Then you can upload all kinds of other stuff that relate. But now you've got a little baby system all about whatever the project is, YouTube, a particular listing, whatever, because now it knows everything about you, your
Right.
style. And now you can have the same conversations within that one project. And it's all intertwining where they don't in the chat.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
it's powerful.
Oh, that's a good tip.
It's a very good,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
found I've been redoing all my projects, so
Yeah.
that I'm organizing them much better, because they're just sitting in little
Yeah.
chats over there. And I want, like, YouTube I'll have as one project, LinkedIn as another, different things like that of whatever I'm working on.
That's
And
great. Yeah, I should put that on my list. I feel like when I'm using it, it's just so spur of the moment. I don't actually go in and organize it. So it's a good
well,
idea.
that's me. That's me. You're on the run, right? And then that little temporary spot that you can do it as a temporary, so you're not saving it. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Love
Yes. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I
And
do that one. Yeah.
I use that a lot. But what's great about that PDF is, now, let's say you want to go over to Gemini or Claude or whatever, you've got here's me.
Yeah.
And you
That's
just
true.
upload it in, and you can take it all to any of them. And it
Right.
knows you. You don't have to train it. It's done.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a good point.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I love how you're doing that. And I just noticed with some of your videos that it looked like you had a professional in there.
Yes.
And yet I see you walking with your phone, and you've got some of those. Tell us about how you're doing all your video stuff. It's very intriguing.
Okay, so yeah, so I do have a really great production team. I have a couple of friends who use them. One of which is down in LA, down at Huntington Beach, and so Ricky Zolliger. is the fellow. He has a whole team who they flew up from LA.
Mm.
And what they do is they stay for the day and they shoot, I think they shot like maybe 15 videos for me in one day. Then they'll edit them, make sure that I kind of jibe with everything that they have as the captions, and then they'll post them every week or every 2 weeks, depending on what we decide. And that lasts for about 4 to 6 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, you're definitely paying for it. Okay. These guys are probably the priciest in the market, but you definitely do get what you pay for. And that really great gave me a big boost of online presence. And so now I've been able to feather in my own bits and pieces. So I do have Ricky and Derek and their team there. If you want to Google them, they'll pop up right away.
Hmm.
And then I also do have a local photographer who's also now doing video for me. It's called Monty Lou Media. They're based here in Napa, but they go all over the Bay Area. And so she's also a good girlfriend of mine. So it's really great. That really helps because she really knows me. So with the
Hmm.
videos, she'll kind of tap into that too. So I'll use her. And then, so I've had her film a lot of the stock videos.
Yeah.
For example, I did a video on the 50-year mortgage, and that was really convenient. That's really nice to have, especially in this time in my life. Being quite busy. If something really exciting comes up in the media and in our market, it's nice to be able to post about it right away and not have to
Yeah.
organize a video shoot, right? Now, this specifically with the 50-year mortgage, I was in my first trimester and I was really tired, and I wasn't nauseous, but I had to eat constantly. So anyway, so I did that, from my bed. And I
Oh,
got, yeah. And so just did the voiceovers,
uh-huh.
and used my stock video, which we did kind of rush to get all of that done, as we did with Ricky and Derek. They flew it from LA, and I had some transactions going on, and I knew I couldn't delay them because I was starting to show. Um, so anyway, so I would say, definitely the stock videos are great. I'm due for more, but I'll probably have to wait till April
Yeah.
to do them so they're more evergreen, not
Yes.
just that one shot of me in my life at that time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I'd say between the two of them, I have the super high tier folks that I spend the big bucks on. And then I have my local person, and then I also have myself.
Yeah.
So those kind of, again, I feather all of those in so that I have the real gold pieces there, and then I have some cute other ones that
Hmm.
pop in. And I've noticed, because I have done, like, I've played around with the boost on these videos, and I found recently that the ones that get a ton more followers than others and more engagement are the fun personal ones, but they're still related to my career. They're still
Hmm.
related to real estate. The informational ones are fantastic. Those are really great, but I've noticed those haven't gotten as much engagement. But the purpose of those is to just make sure that I'm solidifying in other folks' minds, probably people who already know me and they know I'm a
Hmm.
realtor, but they don't really know if I'm head and shoulders above others,
Yeah.
and if I can really stand out to really solidify myself as an expert. So those really help. And I will tell you that I was in this really, really competitive situation. It actually was an expired, which we rarely get, very
Mm.
rarely get. And I had this lead kind of fall in my lap, but there were a couple of other agents, who were up for it. And I connected with them very much right away. But ultimately, I'm pretty confident that the reason they chose me over relisting with their other agent and with others was my online presence.
Mm.
They did have a couple of things to say about the other agent, with their online presence and lack thereof, like in a professional capacity. And right after my meeting, I had mentioned that I'm active on social media. So right after my meeting, I get home and I look, and my clients both of them had already followed me
Huh.
on IG.
Yes.
And so it was kind of neat. So then yeah. So anyway, they told me, they said, we XYZ, all of these great things and we really liked that you have that presence because we know it's important.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, those guys, my professional crew were expensive, but this was like it's a $2.5 million listing. So it definitely paid for itself
Oh, sure,
and more.
sure. That was great.
Yeah.
Another tip I have always done with my clients, I always connected with them on social media
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the birthdays are every day because I want to come up in their feed. Because if they're not seeing me by me saying happy birthday or whatever it is, then I come up in their feed more often. And
Right.
so I would use these send out cards, which was the same thing where it was online. And let's say they had a new puppy or a new baby. And I
Hmm.
would take a picture of that. That would be the cover of the card. And then, because it comes looking like a gift card, or, like a birthday card or something in the mail. It's really cool. 5 by 7 and nice envelope. And so then I've got the pic. So they open it up and they'll see, like before, they would see their house and they want to open further, which is always the
Yeah.
goal, right? So these would have a picture of the puppy, the new baby, a wedding or whatever celebration, and I would send it. And I never branded those. I just signed it Kathy, but I always had my phone number. But on the inside, I would say, today we keep all our pictures in our phone. I thought you would treasure this one in your hand, and
Oh,
and then
aw.
I do would just say, enjoy, Kathy, phone number. And on the back, I always did a saying, if I knew that they were Christians like me, I would have some phrase in there that would relate to,
Where they are in their life event.
their
Yeah.
life event. And I got
Yeah.
to tell you, those were a hit because that was a Buffini mindset. It wasn't hand
Yeah.
done, but the picture was a big deal. And
Yeah.
what you would hope for is that they would take a picture and they would say, look at my realtor sent for me today. And
Oh,
many
huge.
did.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I mean, and not in a self-centered way, but we all like to see things about ourselves, right? I mean, I love to show people pictures of my kids,
Yes.
and I love it even more. Someone sent me a card with a picture of him.
Yes.
So no, that's wonderful. I love that. And I'm actually, it's so interesting you mentioned that, Kathy, because I had heard that on another podcast. Actually, it was on millionaire real estate, and but
Mhm.
she had done that, but she did it for birthdays. But I'm so glad, thank you for sharing that. That is just, why not stop there? Yeah, that's on my list for next year. I love it.
Well, the cool thing about send out cards is it'll alert you if you put it in the CRM within there of their birthday. So then it comes
Yeah.
up, hey, so and so's birthday's in 3 weeks or whatever. So then I would have a standardized card that I typically did for the birthday card. But when it would pop up, I would have the content of it. But then I
Uh-huh.
could personalize it on the left-hand side because that was blank. So that part could be like a little story,
Right.
wishing you the best. I know the kids are doing this or whatever. So the majority of the card was done. Never branded that either. Never branded the birthday cards. And
Yeah.
or the Christmas cards. No branding on that. It was only the only time I branded the card is I did a thing called I Got a Guy and a Gal Too. And that was the cover. And it was blue and had big white puffy letters like a cloud. And they would open it up and on the left-hand side I would feature a vendor, like let's say a roofer, and it would have their logo, a little bit about the company, their contact information. And on the right, I would say, "Hey, this is my monthly card where I feature somebody that I completely trust that I thought you may be of interest needing. If you don't, somebody else might. And if you need somebody else, just give me a call because I got a guy. And if I
Yeah.
don't have a guy, I got a guy who's got a guy." I said so.
That's
And I said, I'm not paid for this. I wanted that to be very clear. And I said, I'm doing this because it empowers all of you, and that's my goal. And I said, if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell, the Buffini
right.
thing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then that one I would brand, and that went out every single month to about 125 people every month. And I did it to the vendors as well because I
Uh-huh. Yeah.
wanted the
Oh, yeah.
vendors referring me.
They're in front of people all day, every
Yes,
day. Oh, the small business owners, retail folks, it's the best. I've gotten
it's
so
the
many
best.
leads from that.
I'm
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
purpose with them. So they were a big part of my portfolio because not all clients do you want to keep nurturing, or somebody just
Yeah.
moved or whatever, but you really want to do that. And one, I went from when I met her, she had a little store and I said, "Hey, let me promote your store for you, on my social medias that I've got." And she said, "Okay." And through the years, I would send her that I got a guy card and I would promote her store. It was a bead store. And when I first met her, she had bought this incredible waterfront house. At the time was around 3 million. So through the years, 12 years to be exact, all of a sudden she calls and she goes, "I'm going to sell the house." I go, "Oh, do I get to help you?" And she goes, "Yes, you do." That was my first $5 million house. So I was pretty excited.
Aw. Well, and she knew that you cared, and that's
Yes.
that's really huge, is actually like really caring. And it's funny because, and I'm sure you have the same thing, Kathy, where in almost all of my reviews, I see consistently the word "she really cared" or the phrase "she really cared," or I
Mm,
could tell her heart was in the right place, or she had the right priorities, it was on us, it's a theme there, and
yeah.
that's what gets those referrals for us.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's good, it's like you're getting a referral for doing the right thing and for you feel good about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah.
to make it be a win-win for everybody. That was always
Right.
my goal. I don't
Yeah.
need to beat up the other side or the other agent. None of that. Let's all win.
Right.
Get to
That's
the
it.
table happy.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, Sarah. I really appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
on here and sharing all your
Yeah.
nuggets. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Kathy.
All right.
My pleasure.
Well, that's a wrap for us today. And we're going to have all of Sarah's information here so you can reach out to her in the Bay Area. And everything you're going to need to know about her will be there. So if you like this, please subscribe below and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Riches with me, Kathy Byrnes. If you'd like to explore potential partnership with me at eXp Realty, then let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.